The Maine Business Show is proudly presented by Poland Spring.
At Poland Spring, we've called Maine home since 1845 and are proud to be part of the community. Over the past 2 decades, investing more than $12 million in the place that we call home. Poland Spring, 100% natural spring water.
This week on the Maine Business Show, a Maine-based fintech company that's gone global. We'll learn more about WEX. What's Aesta Housing doing to help bring affordable housing to the market? Looking to get the family into sports without breaking the bank? We'll check out Play It Again Sports. And what makes good theater so good? All that and more on the Maine Business Show coming right up. Welcome to the Maine Business Show. I'm your host, Quincy Hentzel. We are located again this week in the global headquarters of financial technology company WEX. WEX states its purpose as simplifying the business of running a business. Joining us to talk more about WEX is its chair and CEO, Melissa Smith. Melissa, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for being here also.
So most people have heard of WEX, but a lot may not know what you do. Can you share a little bit about the services that WEX provides?
I would love to. Yeah, so we've been around since 1983. It's crazy. So we're celebrating our 40th year this year. Many people would know us from the original products that we had. So if you happen to have a vehicle as part of your business, you may have used some of our products to help pay for services around those vehicles, including paying for fuel. But then on top of that, we've expanded over the years, and so we have products for people who are using healthcare benefits like an HSA account or an FSA account. We've gone into integrated payments. So if you were to go online and book a hotel room with any of the online travel agencies, we're working with 8 of the 10 largest in the world. And so you would likely use us in the background to actually make a payment to that hotel. So our products are all B2B. We have about 800,000 customers globally, and we operate in where we have employees in 15 different countries.
You have a company ethos of accountability to the environment, to people, and to how you operate the company. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. And as public companies, they formalize this idea of ESG. And we think that's just formalizing the way that we've always operated, just really doing the right thing by your stakeholders. And if you look at our 4 pillars in our ESG strategy, it is leading in the energy transition, so being really thoughtful about how we can help our customers go through the process as they migrate to EV. It gives us this great opportunity. We do business with almost 19 million commercial vehicles globally. And as they make that migration through, we've developed products to help them with that transition. And at the same time, we're able to do something that's really good for the environment. So good for our customers, good for us financially, good for the environment. On environmental stewardship, the biggest place where we're consumers of energy is around our data centers. And so we've been really focused around reducing that footprint. We'll go from 33 we're focusing on reducing to 7. So we've made a huge amount of progress on that front. And then our social and culture is something that's really a cornerstone of the company. So we're really focused around how we can make sure that we're really building upon the culture of diversity and inclusion that has been there since I've joined WEX. We've added a lot of affinity groups. We've focused on making sure that we have pay equity, and so pay parity for similar type of roles is something that we're really proud of. And as well as continuing to increase the diversity, within the company, because we think there's a high correlation between that and innovation. So highly related to people and culture is social impact, and we care about the communities that we're in. We want to make sure that we are good stewards in the local communities we're in. We're big fans here of Portland, Maine, obviously. But it's actually one of our core values to be a positive force in our communities, and we want to lean into that as how we're operating day to day. So we have a lot of opportunity here, and we think about if we treat our employees well, they treat all of our stakeholders well.
Melissa, thank you for being here today. Thank you for having WEX's global headquarters located here in Portland, Maine. And thank you for letting us film out of this beautiful building today on Casco Bay. We really appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks, Quincy.
It's no secret that Maine is in the midst of an affordable housing crisis, especially in southern Maine. That affects everything from a growing unhoused population to workers who can't afford to live in the city or town where they work. Aesta Housing has been working since 1972 to give people and families affordable rental housing. It's a never-ending effort, but Aesta Housing is making a difference. Joining us is the president and CEO of Aesta, Rebecca Hatfield. Rebecca, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I've had the great privilege of being able to work with Aesta and see firsthand what you do in our communities. Can you talk a little bit about that work and the mission of Aesta?
Yes, absolutely. So Avesta's mission is to improve lives and strengthen communities by promoting and providing safe, quality, affordable homes for people in need. We believe that everybody deserves a place to call home, and housing is often the seed to permanent stability in people's lives. And because of that, we work every day to provide people access to housing as well as additional services to help them thrive long term.
So Aesta has roughly 300 employees, and you oversee housing for about 4,000 residents. And that's a lot to manage. How does Aesta do that? What is the structure of your organization to provide the supports that are needed for those individuals that are in housing?
So Aesta Housing, as you know, Quincy, is the largest affordable housing provider in northern New England, and we have been around for more than 50 years. We have 5 focus areas, or what I call pillars of our mission. The first one is real estate development. So we create and preserve new housing. We have over 800 units in our development pipeline right now. The second one is we provide property management and resident services to promote housing stability long term. And we serve, as you said, more than 4,000 residents across Maine and New Hampshire. That's in 100 properties, more than 3,300 apartment homes. The third piece is we have a home ownership center and provide financial capabilities counseling to help people access and find stability in their housing, whether it's rental or home ownership. The fourth is assisted living, so we provide housing to older adults who need additional care. And then the fifth one is housing advocates. We are very, very strong advocates at the local, state, and federal level. All of these things come together to help people access housing, and is really, really important. It's a holistic approach to providing housing in our community.
So housing seems to be the number one thing we're talking about across the entire state, and specifically here in the southern Maine region. What do you view as the greatest challenge to really tackling the need around more affordable housing?
So the greatest challenge is that we cannot produce housing fast enough. It's very, very simple. The demand exceeds the supply exponentially. I mean, what we're seeing on the ground is like nothing else we've seen in the past. So to give you some context around that, Aesta measures how many applications they receive each year. And from 2020 to 2022, we've seen double the amount of applications in that period of time. So last year in 2022, we received 8,800 applications for 350 apartments. That's 24 times. The demand is 24 times the supply, or simply put, we're receiving 24 applications for every one apartment. The other thing is we have 5,000 people on our wait list. And we're seeing this despite doubling our pipeline over the last 5 years and really accelerating the amount of housing that we're bringing online. So it really gives you a sense of why it's so challenging and what we need to do to tackle the crisis. The reality is we just need to create more housing, and we need to do it faster.
Rebecca, it was so great to have you on the show. I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank you for everything Aesta is doing to finding solutions to building more affordable housing. So keep up the great work, and please come back and visit us on the show in the future.
Great. It's truly a pleasure talking to you. I can talk about housing for hours, so thank you for giving me the opportunity today to talk a little bit about the crisis that we're living in.
Thank you. Still ahead, how to keep the kids in sports gear when they keep outgrowing it. Welcome back to the Maine Business Show. Ever wish you could outfit the kids or yourself for a new sport without breaking the bank? Or are you wondering what to do with that hockey equipment no one's using? Check out Play It Again Sports.
I am Scott Russo. I'm the president and owner of Play It Again Sports on Marginal Way in Portland, Maine. The original owner did have the store here for 10 years. It wasn't quite the hockey store that it was now. It was more traditional Play It Again Sports franchise. It was more general sporting goods with some hockey. At the time, I was about 30 years old and I'd finished serving my time in the Army. I went to West Point, played hockey there, and then traveled and did my active duty time and didn't really want to leave Maine anymore. I'd come home and I really kind of fell in love with Greater Portland. And so when the opportunity presented itself to purchase a store, and I could kind of see the potential. Hockey was growing here in Portland, and so I took a chance. And it was the chance of a lifetime, and I have no regrets. It's been an amazing 22, almost 23 years. Generally speaking, every day is Christmas for our customers. They're coming in to get the things that they want, to do the things they want to do. And so there's a lot of joy in that, in helping people get the equipment to play the sports that they're passionate about. Most people don't look forward to work every day, but they look forward to playing hockey or playing lacrosse, whatever that activity that we can't wait to do on Saturday, and to assist people in finding that is really gratifying. It is great because I get to continue to enjoy long-term relationships with all the other coaches and athletic directors that we work with on their team sales and their uniforms and their equipment year in and year out. I think the other nice piece that's really gratifying is developing a family store, and that all our employees are generally long-term employees that have been with us a long time, and we've created a unique little family here. You know, everyone enjoys coming to work every day, and we get the work done, but we have a good time and have fun. And like I said, for most of the time, everyone's really happy. They're coming to get things that they really want, and we can be part of that, and it's a good feeling. Our store is really catered to kids and kids sports, especially in hockey. We have all levels of equipment from the highest end to the lowest end, just starting out. And when you factor in the used option for young families, it's pretty affordable to dip your toe in the water and see, hey, maybe we're going to try hockey. You know, we watched the Bruins on TV and they had a great year, and maybe my son or daughter saw it and they want to try it. For a child's development, where else do we have a classroom environment where they're going to learn to succeed and fail? Particularly, you know, the last 15, 20 years in the participation trophy world, where do kids learn to struggle? You learn to win with grace, you learn to lose, you learn the value of practice, you learn the value of being dedicated to something, you learn the value of teamwork. You can't emulate that in other places in a child's life. So I think sports are special. And for me, I mean, hockey is my passion and love, so to me, hockey is very special.
Good Theater, which performs at the Hill Arts Center on Munjoy Hill in Portland, took its place among the region's professional theater companies 20 years ago and never looked back. Co-founder and executive and artistic director Brian P. Allen has been a part of Maine's theater scene for decades, and he joins us today. Thank you so much for being on the show, Brian.
Thank you for having me.
So let's jump into the Good Theater, and let's talk a little bit about why this is a professional theater.
Well, we employ professional artists, we pay people a professional wage, and we've been doing quality shows for 20 years now.
So we are really lucky in the Portland region in that there's a lot of great theaters. What separates Good Theater from the rest?
I think our consistency and the quality of our productions. We've been doing this for a long time, and our audiences have come to rely on the fact that they're going to have a good time when they come to Good Theater.
Good Theater produces plays, musical, Broadway reviews. What's your personal favorite type of show?
Good Theater. It has to be a good show for me to want to do it. And as the artistic director, I'm the one who gets to pick all the shows. So I only pick things that I like. We've never done an audience survey to ask our audiences, and they've come to just rely on us. So we've done everything from August Osage County to sheer madness. So it's an eclectic mix at Good Theater.
So this is the Maine Business Show, and we like to talk a little bit about the business impact of arts in our community, in our region. So can you share a little bit about the economic impact of Good Theater?
Sure. We are the largest employer of Maine-based actors anywhere. And last year we had over 44 actors who worked for us, and we paid them wages of more than $120,000. And all of that money goes back into the community because they all live here. Also, the restaurants in the area say, we can tell when you've got a show because then we're full. And one restaurateur said to me that they would not survive if it wasn't for good theater doing what we do. So I think we have a huge impact on the economy.
What are your expectations for the next season?
Well, we have 4 great shows lined up, and I'm excited for all of them. I'm directing 3 of them, and we have a guest director for 1. We've got a romantic comedy, we've got a musical concert, we've got a huge raucous British comedy, and then we have a really heartfelt musical, so something for everyone.
Brian, it's great to have you on the show. We love highlighting the arts because it is such a big part of our economy in the greater Portland region. Thanks for being here, and I hope you come back again.
Thanks so much. It was great to be here, and thanks for the interview.
In the early 1980s, Maine manufactured more shoes and boots than any other state. But with the new international trade agreements, by 1985, 94 shoe factories around the country closed. 32 of them were in Maine. Shoe manufacturing began in Maine soon after the Revolutionary War. They were all made by hand, but with the coming of the Industrial Revolution, that would change. Starting around 1845, new machinery for pegging, rolling leather, and especially for sewing led to a gradual mechanization of the shoemaking process. By 1873, there were more than 112 shoe manufacturers in Maine, making more than 5.5 million pairs of shoes and boots. The city of Auburn had the most factories, followed by Portland and then Bangor. But shoe manufacturers were all over the state, from Sherman and Bridgeton to Dexter to Livermore to Freeport to Minot. Shoe manufacturing continued in Maine into the 20th century, eventually making the state the nation's largest producer of boots and shoes. Soon brands such as Dexter, Bass, and LL Bean became household names. In the late 20th century, less expensive imports from Asia, South America, and other regions decimated the domestic shoe industry, including much of Maine's. The shoe industry is not gone from Maine, however. There are 9 brands that still manufacture some of their shoes here. Helm Boots, LL Bean, Eastland, Pierpont Hicks, Quaddy, Easy Mock, Rancourt and Company, Wasukeg Moccasins, and New Balance, who's currently investing $65 million in a new expansion in Skowhegan. If you're one of the more than 600,000 people living in western or central Maine, then you're intimately familiar with one or more of the 20+ publications produced weekly and monthly by Turner Publishing. Our main business leader this week is its publisher and CEO, Jody Cornelio. Jody, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Quincy, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today.
So Turner Publishing is the largest direct mail and community publisher in Maine. Tell us a little bit about what that means.
Well, we mail all of our community papers to every home in western and central Maine. We have over 600,000 readers, and we mail to over 200,000 mailboxes in Maine for free. The biggest expense that I have is the price of a postage stamp to get those papers in everybody's homes.
So the masthead slogan on all of your papers reads, "It's all good news." Why is that?
Well, it's simple. I mean, good news is nice, and it makes you feel good. But really the story about Turner Publishing is over 30 years ago, my former husband and I were at a ball game, watching the basketball game in the local community, and a bunch of our friends, we were sitting around with a bunch of our friends, and somebody said, wouldn't it be nice if the local paper covered the great things that these kids are doing? So we all agreed that that was a great thing. So the following day, we knocked on 8 businesses' doors, and we said to them, if we followed the school sports, the academics that these kids are involved in, the good stuff that's happening in our community, would you support us? And 7 out of 8 of those businesses said, yes, we would support you. And several of them are still with us today, 30 years later. So we went from one paper called the Country Courier that we mailed to 3 towns. It rapidly grew to 17 towns, and then we started growing each community as our clients and our readers pushed us into different communities wanting good news. So now we have 22 community papers, good news, and it's all good news and only good news. We're apolitical. We have 22 now, and we mail to over 157 zip codes. So it's quite a big, we're a small company that does large things. We have good news writers. We have a bunch of writers that write about their passions and their expertise. We have Lucas Allen, who writes our movie review, and he is a special story in itself, where he goes to the movies once a week with his dad, has been doing that for 20 years, and he sends us his movie reviews. We have Paul J. Reynolds, who writes an outdoor sporting and wildlife column. We cover the children's sports. We have fun and games for the kids in the paper called the Kids Corner, and a lot of our clients like to sponsor those pages. We have health columns. I myself write a health column, and Diane Atwood writes a health column in our papers. So it's all good, and it's only good news, apolitical, and it's about the community and the good things that we all stand for.
Jody, thank you so much for being a part of our show, and thank you for spreading good news to so many corners of Maine, because we all need a little bit more good news in our life. So I hope that you'll come back again and join us on the show.
I would be happy to do that, and thank you for having me. Thank you for all that you do for the businesses in Maine.
We have a message for you from Poland Spring, and then we'll be right back.
Water connects us all. As a company that relies on nature, we take responsibility to help conserve it. Our team of experts sustainably source water from carefully selected springs, monitored and managed to help support Maine's future, continuing the legacy of one of Maine's oldest brands for this generation and those to come. Poland Spring, 100% natural spring water.
This week's nonprofit segment is brought to you by our friends at Central Maine Power, and our travels bring us here to Hallowell, Maine at Spectrum Generations to learn a little bit about their important services and a big project that they're working on.
Hi everyone, Jerry Quealy from Spectrum Generations, and beautiful fall Maine day here at the Cohen Center in Hallowell. And behind me is the Cohen Deck project being built here right at the center to bring outdoor dining to older and disabled adults here in Maine. Spectrum Generations as an area agency on aging offers a variety of services. The one that people are most familiar with is Meals on Wheels. But in addition to that, we do social dining. We do outreach, so we act as a connector to services. We have a variety of partnerships, and one of our strongest partnerships is with CMP. A lot of the people who use our services are on a fixed income, and so they need to help themselves understand how they could better utilize their electricity.
We started Power Hour about 2 years ago, and we started initially going to Spectrum Generations at the Cohen Center and the Muskie Center. My team and I found it very rewarding to talk to the customers in our communities face to face, and the customers find it easier to have somebody in front of them to show them the pages of their electricity bill and what the different sections are. The most questions we receive from our communities and our customers is the supply portion of the bill. Many of them don't understand that that is not a Central Maine Power portion. It is billed by who they are receiving their electricity from. If you have questions about your bill, please call our contact center. We are there Monday through Friday. We're willing to help. Look for community connection events that we are having. All of our representatives and employees that come out to meet you are willing and happy to help you understand your bill.
Spectrum Generations could not do our work, build this deck, without volunteers. We have a wide variety of community partners, from Maine General to Central Maine Power and beyond. The backbone of building community is the volunteers who deliver our meals, the volunteers who serve during social dining, the volunteers who help people figure out their finances. We have over 300 to 400 volunteers, but we need more every day. And if you're interested, just contact Spectrum Generations if you're ready to give back to your community.
That's it for this week's edition of the Maine Business Show. Our thanks once again to WEX for hosting us and to all of our guests. We hope you learned something new about Maine business and that you'll join us again. I'm Quincy Hentzel. See you next time.